Hey guys, welcome back to another video of Star Trek Fleet Command. So this is going to be a video about some officer setups for the levels 15 to 20-ish. Um, these levels typically don't have a well-established officer role, so I'm going to go through some of the introductory ships, who you should be using on those ships, who's best suited for those ships, and whatnot, and do a little bit of a check-in of where I'm at. So my goal right now is to get to level 18, so I can get to the mission that is running every 2 days to farm free jellyfish blueprints and probably stay there for a while and catch everything up. So I haven't really upgraded a lot of stuff. I'm just trying to rush through everything to get to level 18. Living under a shield, highly recommend that, especially if you are carrying a lot of resources, considering your level. But one thing I did want to show you guys, I got my 25 jellyfish blueprints that are farmable through missions. Plus, I've got 6, and I believe I am working on another 3, because at level 17, you get this mission, which is a station upgrade event, and you have to upgrade your dry dock C to level 10, your upgrade station defense C to level 17, and upgrade the lithium generator A to level 17. If you don't do this and move up to 18, you will lose the mission. So I strongly suggest you get this done at level 17. And the rewards are the same at each level. 3 jellyfish blueprints for each of those goals that you get. And I believe it doesn't really increase. Yeah, you don't really get any uncommons. You get a little bit of resources, but it's those jellyfish blueprints that you're really after. Because if you can get the 9, then you can have 34 of the 75, and so that's just less to farm once you get to level 18. So as you can see, I have some things at level 5, some things at level 12, 14. I'm really only focusing on those goals, and then of course then I will focus on these as well to upgrade my operations to level 18. Once I hit that level 15 spot, I got a 7-day shield, so I'm still living under that shield right now, using that time to get up to level 18. In the meantime, I can't hit any ships who have dirty killed any of my miners. So that kind of sucks, but I'm willing to sacrifice that for living under this shield right now, because as you can see, I am carrying a good amount of resources for my level currently. So I've been doing a lot of combat research, making sure I stay on top of that. I stopped upgrading my Turas because I'm going to be getting the jellyfish, which is an explorer, so I really want to conserve all of that uncommon 2-star gas for the jelly. And I have been upgrading a little bit, not too much, of the Tala and the Findra. Let me see. Let me just get these done here. So we're gonna play around with some of the crews here, and kind of see where we're at with things. So the first ship we're gonna take a look at is the Findra. Let me go back here. And I am definitely using some of the things that you would use at the upper levels at level 28 and going forward. You definitely want to pay attention to the stats of the ship, making sure you get as high of a bonus as possible on the attack, defense, and health. And I will definitely show that to you guys here. One moment here. So what I'm paying attention to is this bonus right here. I really want to maximize that as much as possible. Having a slim crew setup makes it really difficult, but you can definitely move crew members around. As you can see, what's in my below deck, those are just the strongest officers that are really enhancing those bonuses. And that's what I'm paying attention to below decks. And then on the bridge, I'm paying attention to crew that are best suited for an interceptor. So keep in mind, that's Klingons. I'm going to go over each of these Klingons that are on my bridge right now and probably change a little bit of a setup that's going on my Tala. Because I did just get another Romulan. And so let's just take a look here. I'm going to put this in a group. So as you can see, I have been definitely working on this. I really don't have the really long thought after crew members. And even when I do, they're going to need multiple tiers until they're incredibly effective. So I'm being very creative with the crews that I'm using here. So for the Federation, I have Arcady and Scotty. They're definitely not the best crew members, so I'm not really using them all that much right now. However, for the Klingons, I have Moral, Woltling, and Koth. I'm not really using Koth that much because he relies a lot on a captain ability for Hull Breach. And I don't have Gorkin, I don't have Azabur, so the Hull Breach component here is really difficult to do, so if there's no Hull Breach, he's ineffective, so I have not been using him. However, Wolting, he will increase the interceptor's dodge value by 15%, which is incredibly effective in combat. So he is on my bridge. Morale, she is on my bridge as she increases the total attack of all officers on the ship by 10%. And then she increases the armor piercing of the ship by 30%, which is incredibly effective on an interceptor since it uses torpedoes. So those two are on my bridge, and then the other Klingon that I'm using, I just got here. Let's see if I can pull him up, which is Claw. I love Claw a lot. I think he's a really great officer, even in those upper levels. So he is increasing the critical hit damage of the ship by 8%, being that it's an interceptor firing with torpedoes. That critical hit damage ratio is already considerable high compared to the other ships, so he is just enhancing that. So just know, when it comes to the Findra, when it comes to the Kara, Klingons are your go-to. One group of Klingons I want to warn you about is... let's see here. Where did they go? Is this group right here. So, Komal, it's Glory in the Kill. These are officers who have abilities against players. I don't like officers where they're only good against NPCs or they're only good against players. I like kind of flexibility as you kind of find yourself in multiple situations when you're out in space. So that whole group is based on fighting players, and that is just not something that I want to do. So this is my go-to crew for using the Findra, going against those battleships, fighting those battleships, and it works pretty effective. I'm using it against bosses, and that's working out very well. If we take a look at this last one here. So I had used my battleship to damage the shields a little bit, but as you can see, it was doing a pretty good job. Let's take a look at the battle report. So the abilities activated right away, and we're starting to do some damage. And let's see, armor piercing, critical hit damage, bonus attack, and dodge. So there should have been some additional mitigation going on here. And there was a critical hit in round 5. Yeah, if you take a look at this, we're in round 1. Round 2, nothing happened because I am fighting another interceptor, and our firing rate is every 2 rounds on those torpedoes. I can actually show you guys this right here and take a look at this. The recharge time is 2 rounds. So on those torpedoes, just keep in mind that they're gonna fire once every 2 rounds. So that's why you kind of saw that it was skipping some rounds, because both interceptors needed that recharge time of 2 rounds going on there. So this is my basic setup for the Findra. It is very nicely effective. Once again, I really don't have that much of an option when it comes to the stuff here. I could easily use the Enterprise Cadets. Enterprise Cadets are great, with Cadet Uhura as captain, and then Kirk and Spock as officers. And it's a really good setup to have on your back burner. But for my interceptor, if you have Klingons, use Klingons, especially the group that I chose. Then again, on my Tala, I actually could. Let's do grouping. And let's see here. Vela. Let's take a look at him. If the opponent's ship is an explorer, Vela increases the damage of the weapons by 10%. And Vela increases the total damage of all officers on the ship by 5%. Let me go back here. But Cadet Uhura is decreasing the weapon damage of the opponent's ship by 15%, and that can be any kind of ship. So with her, she is much more effective than Vela in that regard. Plus, she increases the shield health of the ship by 9%. And so in addition to her, I am using Instructor Spock, who is going to increase the shield, deflection, armor, and dodge of the ship by 12%. And then I have Javade, or I did have Javade. Let me see where he went. So I have Javade on the battleship because he is going to increase its armor by 15%. So I just got him there. And then, of course, once again, you are putting the crew on the bottom that can best fill out your bonuses, best give you some strength to the overall stats of the ship there. And so on the bridge, keep in mind, it's not about the strongest, it's about who can complement that ship well based on what you have. And then my third ship setup, if I had my Turas there, I would definitely be using Chen, probably Gala, Shev, possibly Gonzalez in place of Gala. Chen, we take a look at her. She's against hostiles. Now, this is a hostile hunting crew. She increases the dodge, shield, deflection, armor of the ship by 20% against hostiles, and she decreases the enemy's damage done by its energy weapons, so you definitely want to hit other explorers with this, by 15%. However, the Tala only has phasers, it doesn't have a torpedo, so you can definitely use that with this setup here. And if we take a look at Shev, he increases, if it's a hostile, he increases the damage of energy weapons of the ship by 7%. And Gala, she will decrease the damage from critical hits by 20%. And Gonzalez is going to increase critical damage against hostiles by 5%. So you definitely have some flexibility to use there. Keep in mind, it's really hard to gauge, a video about the best crew setup. But this will give you a general idea. Some basic crew setups for you to use will be, for the cadets here, Uhura Captain, Cadet Kirk, Instructor Spock. On the Starfleet cadets here, Chen is Captain, Shev and Gala or Gonzalez. Possibly Talon if you are fighting, if you're fighting interceptors such as a swarm, so you can reduce the torpedo damage that you're taking there. Here, of course, the 3 miners, or I should say the 6 miners, they're all one group and they all sync together well with their synergies. These guys right here, great for going under the ship for right now because Yanach and Lennar, they are great against factions. And I'm not at that point in the game yet. Javade is always, hands down, a great supplement to a battleship. Vela right now does not work the best for me, so I'm not using him. Morale and Moltene with Claw, hands down, on an interceptor. And that's who I have right now. If I had other crew members, it would definitely be different. If I had any of these, I mean, Livis, hands down, is great on a battleship. Azapatur, Gorkin, great on a battleship. Chang would go below deck. I don't like his abilities at all. Of course, Kirk, Spock, Uhura, those are the ones you really want on the Explorer. Sulu's a great fit on the Explorer as well. But for beginners, those are some really great crew setups. And just pay attention to the stats below the deck, to the right side, and make sure you try to maximize that as much as possible below decks. But on the bridge, you really want to choose the crew that's going to work well with the type of ship you have, the type of hostiles you're fighting. Maybe you're fighting a player, and you really want to get to know those abilities and how to reassemble the crews based on the ships that you're using. But if you do have any questions, drop them down below. Hit that subscribe button and that bell. I will definitely be doing more crew videos about this. But thank you guys so much for watching. Take care, be kind to one another, and I'll talk to you later.